let's say hello to Dr. Dave Richards, Executive Learning Strategist for Michigan Virtual. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Mitch. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm not sure that last song qualifies in any form of education whatsoever, so we apologize. Although, if you want to try to work it in, that's fine. Share with us some of the latest developments that you've found in the field of education, particularly digitally. So much has changed during the pandemic, and the way the kids learn now, the way the adults learn now. We've accepted the computers and digital learning and Zoom meetings and all the rest as that kind of thing. I know that you've had a lot of roles in education. You've been a teacher, a principal, a superintendent, now an executive learning specialist. You're one of the founding members of Michigan's Future of Learning Council. So what is the future of learning? What do you hope to see, and what impact might these innovations have on students?
Yeah, the challenge, obviously, the pandemic certainly accelerated that disruption or that need to redesign what learning looks like going forward. So as a group of superintendents from across the state, we got together and said, we need to really focus developing our leadership capacity to think about learning very differently going forward. And so organized and created the Future of Learning Council. And the whole goal there is to provide a professional development, professional learning opportunity for leaders to get together and share best practices. And obviously, because of the pandemic, Mitch, teachers were suddenly asked to shift to this emergency remote learning model, and kids were expected to remain engaged as learners. And meanwhile, districts were trying to figure out how to navigate the pandemic. That acceleration really caused districts, I think, to step back and say, society just has a very different ask. And so how do we design learning where the kid's at the center rather than just the structure of schools? And so we're finding that a lot of districts are realizing that we have a window of opportunity to design these new models, to embrace mobility and flexibility. So our goal with the council, and Michigan Virtual has been a big part of giving us a place to set up as our home base, is to provide that learning and to bring in national experts so that we all have the same learning experiences, and we can take those back to our local learning communities.
I've heard you made some distinctions between the words school and learning. A lot of people just assume that they're one and the same, but there actually is a distinction. Tell me about it and why it matters.
I think the best lens that we can look through going forward is, as we mentioned about the student-centered, is to really focus on the learning piece. If we try to grab the old model and drag it forward, we're going to constantly design around the structure of school, the bell schedules and seat time requirements and grading and all those pieces, rather than focusing on what does learning need to look like as we go forward. And so our conversations are really about, how do we design with the kid in mind? How do we design understanding that kids are very different? They all have different learning styles. And can we create pathways and scenarios where every kid has a chance to be successful? And if a kid can move faster, let's let them move faster. If a kid needs more time, let's give them more time as we go forward.
Well, it sounds like a lot of change is coming, and I imagine that's the net result of upheaval like we've seen for the last few days. Interesting, the Future of Learning Council, probably a group very, very much needed given what's going on in learning. Thanks for spending a little time with us, Dave, and telling us what's going on.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Mitch.
Dr. Dave Richards there, Executive Learning Strategist for Michigan Virtual, leading and collaborating to build learning environments for tomorrow. It's 760 WJR.